So Rachel, what phone do you own?
I own a BlackBerry Curve.
And was there any particular reason at the time why you decided to buy it?
Yeah, my friend came with me and she encouraged me to get it.
No personal inputs on there? Maybe just a bit of an influence from a friend?
Mostly influenced from a friend. I didn't know what phone to get. She was an expert in phones apparently because she worked at a phone shop.
Oh, right, okay. And what factors motivated you yourself other than your friend? Was there any at all to buy it, or?
I wanted a phone that I could call people, text people, email. I just need to make sure it did everything I wanted it to do. I liked the entertainment factor. I liked being able to listen to music on it, being able to take photos where the camera's rubbish. Mostly though, I like being able to get my emails through and my texts and calls.
So as you said, entertainment, what is the best entertainment factor about the phone itself, would you say?
Well, I like having the internet, being able to Google stuff. Before I had like a really cheap phone which didn't access the internet at all. So it's great to be on Twitter, Facebook, and Google whenever I need to.
Brilliant. So would you say that you're satisfied with the phone that you have?
No, I don't think so with a phone. But
Any particular reason on that?
It's just not very reliable.
By not reliable, what do you mean?
It freezes up. It doesn't work all the time. It's freezes up. Basically, just freezes up a lot.
Okay. How do you think it could be improved then?
Better software.
Anything particular about the software?
Possibly more reliable software. Software that doesn't freeze.
Very true. Is there anything else in particular that you can think of?
Just the software.
Not the camera at all? Before you said, it's not very good.
The camera's not that important to me.
Not an
I just would
important
like a
factor.
reliable, fast working phone that gives me the information I need when I want it.
Fair enough. And also, can I ask you, how important is it for you to have a mobile phone?
So I can survive without a mobile phone. I have it on me all the time. I use it every day, every hour. I'm addicted to checking things online, checking the news. It's important. It's more important to me than having reliable internet at home. As long as I can access it
So
on my
really,
computer.
could you survive without the phone if it is so reliable and you need it? Fair enough.
I would just prefer not to survive without it.
And what factors would motivate you to purchase a new phone?
When my contract ends, I might look into upgrading it. I want a phone which I be assured of the reliability of. So I'd like one that's fast and quick. Obviously one with better battery life, but at the moment I don't think batteries are particularly reliable. That should change in the next few years. But basically, I would wait till my contract ends in about a year, and then I would be looking at what I think would be good value. But I'd mostly be looking at the contract, to be honest. The contract is the most important thing to me. I want to make sure I'm getting value for what I'm paying. So I'm getting enough calls, enough text, enough minutes, enough internet, enough data. That's what is most important to me. That and a really good phone that does things I need to do. So internet.
So do you say that the package is probably more important to you than the actual handset itself?
The handset, as long as it can use the internet and as long as I can make the calls and text and emails that I need, I don't care so much about the phone.
Lovely. And also, can I ask you, why do you think mobile phones are so important to possess to other people?
Sorry?
So, obviously you said earlier that it's not that important for you to have a mobile phone, but why do you think that other people find it very important to have one with them?
I don't think it's that important to anyone. Not that important. Everyone would survive without a mobile phone. But it's a convenience factor. It's being able to call someone, obviously students living away from home. 30 years ago, my mum was calling her parents about a payphone. I can do it from my comfort of my room on my own phone. I can store numbers. That's probably the most useful thing, not having to carry around an address book or anything. It's more convenience to people. People could live quite happily without mobile phones, but we've got so used to having instant ability to contact people that it's just inconvenient without it.
Brilliant. And also, is it important for you to have the latest phone?
Absolutely not. I'll probably just lose the latest phone or break it.
So through the advertising, of the new iPhone and, all the hype surrounding it, does that not interest you at all?
I'm not an iPhone person. I'm not a fan of Apple anyway, but generally I wouldn't buy the latest model of the phone. I get scared enough carrying this phone around, and this phone's not even worth that much anymore. But I don't want something valuable because I don't trust myself not to break it.
Fair enough. So with you having a mobile phone, where would you say it sort of lies between, do you think it's a psychological need? Do you think it's more of a safety factor? Do you think it's more social? Or do you think it's more self-esteem? Or do you think it's more self-actualization?
Alright, Leslie. It's definitely a social thing. I mean, the whole purpose of it is to get in contact with people. So you can live easily without it. And you can socialise without it.
So do you think then it could, come under psychology with the fact, that you don't need it, but you believe that you do need it?
Maybe. I think, to be fair, I think it'd be good if we just took phones with everyone for 6 months and made them realise just how much they don't need them.
Do you think it could also be anything to do with the safety factor? People like to have it in case anything, happens, in case of an emergency, or...
Personally, no. I don't think it is really.
Do you possibly expand on that thought?
I don't think a phone makes you feel any more safe. I think what makes you feel safe is having people around and stuff. That's more important than having a phone. If you fall unconscious, phone's no good to you. If you're trapped in a burning building, can't get signal, phone's no good to you. But you've got people around, that's what makes you feel safe.
Very good point. So when purchasing a mobile phone, do you think you need it more for social, or do you think you need it more for a professional basis, or, more of a keeping to grips with work and team building?
Personally, it's social, but I have purchased phones for work purposes before, and it's a completely different process. You look at the practical factors rather than things like this. So it's definitely personal to me at the moment for my social needs. I rarely use it for work, maybe to email my boss and stuff, but rarely.
Lovely. And would you say you're more intrinsically motivated or extrinsically motivated to buy or have the latest mobile phone? And what I mean by intrinsically motivated is, are you internally motivated by yourself, or are you externally motivated, by what's around you, what other people say to you?
Yeah, my friends help me choose my phone, I'd say. I tend to ask other people for their advice on phones because I'm not that good at technology. I don't really understand the hardware that much, so I want to get other people's opinions. And as I don't tend to go for the latest phone, people tend to have had the phone before me, so they tend to know.
Lovely. And do you think that you're motivated to buy a more expensive phone because of its exclusivity?
No, absolutely not.
Not at all?
In fact, that would put me off.
Put you off.
I don't want an exclusive phone. That's not important to me.
Lovely. And obviously, we've heard a lot about with the London riots, the BlackBerry, itself company received a lot of bad press. Would this, demotivate you to buy a BlackBerry in the future? Obviously, you have one now. Would that demotivate you to buy one in future?
Not that itself. I mean, BlackBerry only yesterday received good press for spreading out a video about the trial experience. They received good press for getting that out. No, it's just a news story. It was not responsible for the riots. No one could say it was. It's a ridiculous story when people started arguing about that in political areas and stuff. It's ridiculous, and it would not discourage me. Other factors to discourage me, but not that.
Thank you very much for that. And also, can I ask you, do you choose the brand of your mobile phone because of the reputation that they have? Or was it solely, just, as you said, from friends' point of view? Or
before BlackBerry, how old was I? I was 20 when I had my BlackBerry. I'd had a Nokia for 8 years. And that's the only brand of phone that I would buy. It's the only one I consider. But then they were starting to fall behind quite a bit. At that point, I went for BlackBerry because I was told that they were reliable and that they were good. And they turned out to be rubbish, so my friends was...
So do you think you'd go maybe back to Nokia, after...
I might consider it, but I don't think Nokia. I mean, they've just released recently a new phone using the Windows software, but I don't know if I would use them again because they sort of dropped out of they weren't up to date anymore and they weren't being as reliable as they once were. So I'm not sure if I'd be happy doing that yet.
Thank you very much. And which manufacturer do you think will be bringing out the most wanted mobile phone next?
Well, the big battle at the moment is between Apple, obviously, is still very big, but you've got a lot of competition coming from, say, the providers. I think we're more interested in software at the moment, to be honest. You know, people like to have the Android or the Windows software. They don't really care what make the phone is. They care about what the phone can do. I think that's more important now. There's going to be more of a battle between, say, the BlackBerry software, the iPhone software, and the Android and the Windows software. I think that's going to be much more important than actually what the phone is.
And also, would you like to see designer and manufacturer collaboration for a mobile phone?
Such as?
So, say, for example, if, as D&G did it with
Oh,
Motorola,
right.
or...
That doesn't interest me at all. I'm not a design person.
Could you expand on that, perhaps?
I would not be motivated to buy a phone because it was sponsored by a designer at all. It doesn't bother me. I prefer something functional.
Great. And what more do you think the mobile phone can do beyond touchscreen and the new Siri software from iPhone?
I'm not the best to ask. I don't know. I'm not very good at working out what phones will do. Just because, I couldn't believe that phones actually have cameras on. They can't.
And just one last question. Do you feel that you are influenced by celebrity culture when choosing a mobile phone?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't consider what a celebrity has. Oh, I buy a phone. I'm much more interested by, say, what people around me are using. People who are more accessible. Celebrities just don't interest me.
That's great. Well, thanks very much for your time, Rachel.
Thank you very much.